Hello again. It appears we need a quick follow-up and fix to our last video and to our last lesson too. So you might remember when I introduced the notion of the concept of the outliers, I had some discrepancies with Excel. So Excel was defining outliers in a different way, not like I did, and we were puzzled why it is so. Well, and it happens I made a mistake, so I got a bit carried away. It happens. So let's go and quickly fix that mistake. So here in these two lines, these ones, we have a definition for the boundaries which show us where the outliers should lie. And those two lines, they are wrong. So let's examine them. We have a median plus 1.5 interquartile range and a median minus 1.5 interquartile range. And what's wrong with those two lines is that we should not use a median. So when you are looking for the upper boundary, you should take quartile 3. So 16 plus 1.5 interquartile range. And that, yeah, and also I calculated that incorrectly. Silly me. Well, it happens. Okay, so 16 plus 15, 31. Yeah, let's fix that 3 because it does not look like 3. Okay, and when you are looking for the lower bound, you again should not use the median. You have to use the quartile 1, which is 6 in our case. And again, even if it was correct to use the median, my result was incorrect. 10 minus 15 is not minus 15, of course. And I just cannot fathom what I was thinking at that time. How did I make such stupid mistakes? Because you know, those kinds of mistakes, they are outright shame. That's the arithmetics on the level of the early school, like first 4 grades, and doing mistakes in such things is totally not good for a grown-up person. Okay, but whatever. So we take the quartile 1 minus 1.5 of the interquartile range. So 6 minus 15, and that gives us minus 9. So those are the correct boundaries. So whatever lies beyond them, whatever is outside them, so whatever is outside them is the outliers. And whatever falls in between is not considered an outlier. So it does not change our box plot because we still do not have any outliers. All of our data points, all of our numbers lie between minus 9 and 31. So we have this. Okay. And let me just make it totally clear. So I'll move to the yeah, in some aspects this, okay, now it's working. So I'll put the formula here and I'll draw the box plot an example box plot 2. Okay, so this one looks kinda symmetric. It is not necessarily the case. Your whiskers can be of different lengths. So let us make it something like this maybe. So here is our median or quartile 2. The boundaries of the box itself is quartiles 1 and 3. Okay, and the ends of our whiskers are the boundaries for our outliers. So it's Q1 minus 1.5 times interquartile range and Q3 plus 1.5 interquartile range. And if you have any outliers, they will be marked by separate dots, maybe there or maybe here. You can have outliers on both sides or only on one side. However, if you have no outliers at all, then you have to change these two boundaries, the whiskers. So if you have no outliers, let me change the color for that case. If you have no outliers, then your right boundary will be just minimum. And that's if there are no outliers. Oh, why do we need to make a separate case for each one? So I'll just put minimum here, and here you will have just the maximum value. But those two will only be present if and only if there are no outliers. So if you have outliers, you use these two, this one and this one. But if there are no outliers, you just take minimum and maximum. So maybe one more example, just to cement it. And I'll take kind of small data set, so maybe 0, 5, 6, 10, 15, and well, let it be something like 40 maybe, or 35. Yeah, why not? So we have our, okay, I'll change the color one more time. So this is our Q2, or the median. Now for Q1, I'll take this half and take the median of that half. So that's 5. Oh, so sorry, but I did the median incorrect. So for some reason I thought there are 7 numbers. Okay, whatever. So the median is halfway between 6 and 10, which is 8. Okay, but it doesn't change anything considering Q1. because the first half is still these 3 and the median is 5, and the second half are these 3 and the median is 15, so our Q3 is 15. Well, that means that our interquartile range is 15 minus 5, and it's 10. And now I'll find the boundaries. So quartile 1 minus 1.5 times interquartile range, which is again 10, and that gives me minus 10, and the upper bound is quartile 3, so 15 plus 1.5 times interquartile range, and that's 30. Now we have everything we need. Excuse me. So we can go and create our box plot. So let's start with the median. The median is 8, and I'll presume that 8 is this point, and then our quartile 1 is 5, so it's here, and quartile 3 is 15, so it should be here, 8 plus 7. By the way, I'm not sure that we will have enough space to fit everything, but we will try. We will try. Okay, so box is ready. Now we shall go for the whiskers. That zoom in and out is driving me just nuts, just crazy. Okay, so look here. So the boundary, the lower boundary for your data is minus 10, and the minimum value is 0. It's inside this range, so we have no outliers on the right side. So my whisker should go to 0, and 0 is here. If this is 5, then 0 is here. Okay, let me redraw that in a bit more. Okay, it's still not perfect, but it will do. So here is 0, and you see we take just the minimum because we don't have outliers at this side, at left side. Okay, so that's the quartile 3, the boundary of our box. It's 15, and I'll just put 15 there. Don't know why I didn't put it at the first place. Okay, what about the right whisker? So again, I check the boundary, which is 30, and my maximum is 35. It is outside the range, so it's not between minus 10 and 30. So this is an outlier. And when we have outliers, our our whisker, so in this case it's a right hand whisker, but still, so our whisker goes all the way to the boundary, not to the maximum. And our boundary is 30, and I'm not sure that it will fit on the screen. So 15. Yeah, okay, so here we have our 30. So let me check one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we have 30, which is the upper boundary for our data, and our whisker will go all the way to 30. So YouTube notification just came up over the screen. Pay no attention. I have a habit of watching some semi-political shows in my free time, and that's one of them. Okay, so that's our upper bound. That's the end of the whisker, 30. But we have this number, 35, in our data. And we know that it's an outlier. It's just one outlier, no reason for S there. So it should be outside the whisker, and it's situated at 35, which is here. So we will just put a small dot here at 35. And that will be our box plot. Here it is. So one more time, when we had no outliers, oh, I'm moving in the wrong direction. Yeah, so when we had no outliers, our whiskers went to the minimum and maximum, as you see here. And when we have the outliers, the whisker goes just to the boundary, and the maximum, which is an outlier, is outside, it's a separate dot. Okay, so that's all this time. So main point, this. I'll even go and make another page just with those two formulas. So for the lower bound, quartile 1 minus 1.5 times interquartile range. And for the upper bound, quartile 3 plus 1.5 times interquartile range. All of our problems, all of the discrepancies between mine and Excel's calculations were coming from the mistake I made, which was taking the median instead of quartile 1 and quartile 3. But yeah, now that's all. Now that's all. See you next week.